Hey, welcome to Neurology Home. It's these are lectures that are helpful to make the neurology easy. If you want to be the master of the neurology, you must know how the structure are arranged. As brain has no boundaries. So my recommendation, you must draw the brain. It's very easy. If you draw the brain, you know which structure lie where, and it's you become the master in few days. Okay. So initially there are we start with embrology and we go as we move. Okay. So initially there are three swelling which are formed in the from the neural tube that includes posencephalon, mesencephalon, and the rhombencephalon. Posencephalon convert into two that include telencephalon and the diencephalon. Meson convert into the midbrain, rhomben convert into the metencephalon and the myelencephalon. Okay, so telencephalon form your cerebral aqueduct, dine convert into the deep brain structures, midbrain is formed from the mesencephalon, metencephalon convert into two that form the bones and your what? Your cerebellum. Okay, while myelin convert into the medulla oblongata. Okay. Okay, so if we can draw this is your prosencephalon. Prosencephalon form the cerebral cortex and your deep brain structure. This is your mesencephalon, which form the brain, while this is the myelencephalon, which convert into the metencephalon, which form the pons and your cerebellum, while this is metencephalon, which form the medulla oblongata last structures. Along with that, you must know the ventricle system. This is very important that you must know the ventricle system, the brain, which is also related to the embryology. If you know which part is originate from the which part is originate, each part has its own ventricle system. So in the prosencephalon and the telencephalon lateral ventricles. So don't forget that telencephalon from the cerebral cortex. So these are the lateral ventricle which are originally in the telencephalon, while diencephalon has third ventricle. This is third ventricle. Lateral ventricle connect to the third ventricle through foramen of Monroe. Okay, this is your third ventricle, this is your lateral ventricle. Okay, while mesencephalon which develop in the lateral ventricular which develop them into the midbrain, its ventricle system is what is third ventricle, while the rhombencephalon ventricular system is sorry, I would say that mesencephalon developed in the midbrain is the its ventricle system consists of cerebral aqueduct. Okay, and while the uh, rhombencephalon converted into medulla pons and medulla and the cerebellum, and this ventricle system is fourth ventricle. So if we can come to our original slide, we say prosencephalon, mesencephalon, and the rhombencephalon. Prosen into telen, dine, okay, meson into midbrain, rhomben into myelin and meten, okay, telen into cerebral cortex, and the dine into the deep brain structure. Okay, midbrain is midbrain from the mesencephalon, rhomben myelin into the bones and cerebellum, while meten into the medulla oblongata. We know that telencephalon, what we say the ventricle system in the telencephalon, lateral ventricles. What about diencephalon? It is third ventricle. Okay, What about mesencephalon ventricular system? It's cerebellar aqueduct. Okay. What about rhomban system? The rhombencephalon ventricle system is the fourth ventricle. So it's very easy if you know them, attach it with the embryological structure, you become the master of it. Okay. So if we can draw the brain, this is your brain, this is your pituitary, this is your deep brain structure, this is your midbrain, this is your bones, and this is your medulla, and this is your cerebellum. Lateral ventricle in the cerebellar cortex, third ventricle into the deep brain structure, third lateral connect to the third ventricle through foramen of Monroe, and third ventricular cerebral aqueduct, which lie in the midbrain. It connects the third ventricle to the fourth ventricle. Fourth ventricle go along the in the pons, medulla, and the cerebellum, and through foramen of Magendie and the Luschka it convert into the central spinal cord. That's all about it. Yeah, neurology is easy. Okay, thank you. This is the initial lectures.